Hey y'all, I have a message today, and this message is going to be about the consequences of being impatient. And I know, and you know, there's always going to be a consequence for being impatient because we're supposed to have patience and we're supposed to wait, and there's a reason for that. There's a reason that it's God's timing and not our timing. If you're in a season of waiting, if you are in a season that you have to use your patience to get through, let me remind you that your outcome is going to be far greater for waiting than not waiting. We're going to be in 1 Samuel chapter 13, starting at verse 12. Therefore said I, the Philistines will come down now upon me to Gilgal, and I have not made supplication unto the Lord. I forced myself, therefore, and offered a burnt offering. And Samuel said to Saul, Thou hast done foolishly. Thou hast not kept the commandment of thy Lord God, which he commanded thee. For now would the Lord have established thy kingdom upon Israel forever. But now thy kingdom shall not continue. The Lord hath sought him a man after his own heart, and the Lord hath commanded him to be captain over his people, because thou hast not kept that which the Lord commandeth thee. In this passage, Saul and his people was preparing for battle. He was about to go to battle, but he had to wait for Samuel to come and to give the sacrifice. That was the rule. That was the order. He had to wait for Samuel to give the sacrifice, and then he could go to battle. But he got impatient. He was tired of waiting on Samuel, and he gave the sacrifice himself. He performed that act. He performed that duty. But that's not how it was supposed to go. But because he was getting impatient, because he was getting scared, because he was getting emotional, because he was getting fearful of what was about to come next or what was about to happen, he chose to just do it himself. And the word even explains that Saul says he forced himself to do the burnt offering, and he did not seek favor to God before he did it. He didn't pray to God to see if that's what he should do. Should I go ahead and do this, or do I need to continue to wait for Samuel to get here? But he just took it upon himself and told himself to do it. And he says that. He said that he did not talk to the Lord about it. He forced himself to do it. Much like us, we're in a situation and we know we should wait. We're in a situation and we don't have answers. But we want answers, and we want a healing. We want changes. We want just a movement. We get impatient. Then we start thinking in our own head, what can I do to speed this process up? I'm not getting an answer quick enough, so what can I do? We have to put in the work. But we also know when we've done all we can do, we have discernment enough to know when we've done all we can do and what we have to give to God. And whenever we've given something to God to work out for us, to fix for us, to heal for us, that only a miracle from the Lord can fix. That's when our waiting on that movement begins. When we've done our part, and now we wait. Just like Saul, he did his part to prepare his people for battle. But he had to wait for Samuel to come so they could present the sacrifice. But because he was not obedient, Samuel had to tell Saul that the Lord has found a man after his own heart, a man that's going to listen, a man that wants to be obedient, a man that's going to be focused, a man that's going to obey the rules. Samuel had to let Saul know that he had to go find another king because Saul can't be obedient. And obedience is so important. If they didn't have an obedient king, and if God couldn't trust Saul to be obedient in the commandments, how could he trust that Saul was going to do the right thing whenever it was really important? When Saul needed to do something specific in order for this to work, the Lord wasn't going to have that trust in him because Saul already was proving that he couldn't be obedient. And if he's not obedient, he's not trustworthy. So in that waiting period, when we have to learn how to use our obedience and our patience and our discernment and knowing I've done all I can do, now I'm waiting on God to move because he's the only one that can come through and fix this mess. And whenever we admit that, or we know that he's the only one that can fix this, heal this, change this, a movement has to come from him. But when we go back on that, while we're getting impatient, while we're not being obedient and waiting, while we are being fearful of what comes next, so we're getting antsy, we try to apply our different ideas to fix this situation. Most of the time, what we do just adds fuel to the fire. If we know only a movement from God can change something, then what we're going to do is just adding fuel to it. Being obedient and waiting for God to move is going to get you a more rewarding outcome than if you don't wait, you don't use your patience, and you don't trust in the Lord. Saul proved to God that he didn't have his full trust in God. He didn't fully trust that God was bringing Samuel back to him. He didn't fully trust that God's order of the commandment, the commands that he told him to do, Saul didn't have trust in that. He didn't have trust that God was going to come through. So when we give a situation to the Lord, when we've done our part, and we give that situation to him, but then we keep stirring the pot, we're not showing the Lord that we're fully trusting him to fix this. If we're out here stirring and adding to it, then we're not fully trusting him. Lord, I trust you, but let me text him and say this. Lord, I trust you, but let me try this. Let me see if this works. If you're in a time of waiting, when you've done all you can do, and there's no more you can do, and you know that now is the time to just wait on God to move, don't think that you're in a time of waiting and you're wasting time. You're not. Don't let your flesh make you be fearful of that. You're not wasting time. This waiting period is building you. So accept that. Accept the waiting. And know your obedience in this waiting time is going to be worth it. You are going to show God that you fully trust him. You fully know that he's the only one that can come through and fix your situation. Whatever that may be. An answer to something. Things change. A big movement. A healing. Know that your waiting time is not a waste of time. Your obedience shown in this waiting time is so important. Don't let your character, your fleshly character, act out during this waiting time. Let your spiritual discernment shine through so that you know being obedient, so that you know being patient is the right actions to have. So be patient. Wait, because this waiting time is not a waste of time.